Omni-Man is one of the strongest characters in his universe. He has only one purpose: to conquer Earth and advance the Viltrumite Empire. But what would happen if he ventured into entirely different universes, targeting different Earths to conquer? Specifically, he sets his sights on 5 major anime universes: One Punch Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Solo Leveling, My Hero Academia, and Demon Slayer. Before diving into these matchups, it's important to understand just how far Omni-Man could go in each universe. First, I'll place Omni-Man against every superhero and supervillain in each universe. After that, I'll put him against the top 5 strongest characters from those worlds. But before we get there, let's take a moment to understand how powerful Omni-Man truly is. He is possibly the 3rd strongest pure Viltrumite, only behind General Thrag and Conquest. His sole mission: conquer Earth. And to accomplish this, he annihilated his Earth's strongest superhero team, the Guardians of the Globe, in just minutes, and brutally beaten his own son as if he were nothing. He's basically the Superman of his universe, but without laser eyes and without the weakness of kryptonite. Omni-Man possesses superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, and flight, making him a nearly unstoppable force. The battles we'll explore range from the strongest to the weakest universes. And trust me, you'll be shocked by some of the results. At number 5, we start with One Punch Man's Earth. Here, Omni-Man would easily take out almost all S-rank heroes and villains, with very mild difficulty, but at the top, he would face Tatsumaki, the number 2 S-rank hero. This battle could truly go either way. If Omni-Man underestimates her like the other heroes, Tatsumaki could crush his lungs and kill him instantly. However, if Omni-Man focuses fully and uses his incredible speed to close the distance, just 2 to 3 punches would be enough to tear Tatsumaki apart. Moving to number 4, we have Boros. If the two were to face off, Omni-Man would declare, "Earth isn't yours to conquer," to which Boros would reply, "It is, and you are merely a little pebble in my way." Boros, the final boss of Season 1, is a planetary-level threat, just like Omni-Man. But Boros has the advantage of instant regeneration, so no matter how much damage Omni-Man inflicts, Boros' victory becomes inevitable. At number 3, we have Blast, the number 1 S-rank hero. Normally, he doesn't enter such fights because he operates at a universal-level threats and usually resides in another dimension. Yet, it would take just one punch from Blast to erase Omni-Man from existence. At number 2, he would face Cosmic Guru, another universal-level being. Even simply being near him would result in Omni-Man's death. And even if the Viltrumites somehow survived his radiation, which was killing every S-rank hero, Garu's planet-shattering punches would still be impossible to withstand. Finally, at number 1, we have Saitama, the hero whose name defines the series One Punch Man. He needs only one punch to kill Omni-Man, and that's without even going serious. There's no need for explanation. Saitama once destroyed Jupiter with a sneeze and matched Cosmic Guru's light speed with a fart. A broken and gagged character like Saitama simply cannot be surpassed. Now, let's move on to the 4th universe, which is Solo Leveling Earth. In this universe, if Omni-Man intended to be stopped, the combined might of all Japan's S-rank hunters would rise against him. Omni-Man, however, would not even pause. He would recreate the same scene of annihilation he performed against the Guardians of the Globe or the treatment Baru gave all the S-ranks on Jeju Island raid. To put it in simple words, Omni-Man would effortlessly eliminate everyone who dares to stand in his way. However, when Omni-Man declares to the entire Earth, "I have come to conquer your world for the Viltrumite Empire," the national-level hunters would finally intervene to stop him. And if they all fought together with strategy, there's no doubt they could easily defeat Omni-Man. Even in the Invincible universe, characters like Tech Jacket or Our Glorious King Rex Splode have managed to kill Invincible variants who were half Viltrumite. Despite their human DNA, they had the potential to become stronger than normal Viltrumites. By that standard, Omni-Man is essentially nothing in front of the national-level hunters. Among them, the top 3 national-level hunters could easily join forces to take down a Viltrumite. In fact, some of them could likely do it alone, as they possess the powers of rulers, beings who are essentially the direct creation of absolute gods, choosing normal humans as vessels to wield their immense power. So, at number 5, we have Christopher Reeves, who possesses the powers of a ruler. With his fire abilities and magic, he could easily defeat a Viltrumite. Every ruler generates a protective armor during combat, and breaking through it is impossible for any Viltrumite. At number 4, we have Liu Zhigang, China's strongest hunter and the 2nd strongest hunter in the world. He also wields ruler powers. Most of his abilities, and those of other side characters, are rarely shown because Sung Jinwoo was busy maxing out his aura in solo level. At number 3, we have Thomas Andre, the strongest national hunter in the world. He too possesses the powers of a ruler and could easily defeat a Viltrumite. He even managed to hold his ground briefly against a beast monarch and Sung Jinwoo. At number 2, we have every single monarch. The monarchs are divine creations, 10 in total, and each one could single-handedly defeat Viltrumite-level threats. Together, they could utterly destroy Omni-Man as if he were nothing. At number 1, we have Sung Jinwoo himself. At this point, the battle is essentially like a coughing baby versus nuclear bomb. And trust me, here, the baby is Omni-Man. In this fight, Jinwoo doesn't even need to use his full power. His shadows, such as Beru, Bellion, and Igris, are more than capable of killing Omni-Man. In the solo leveling sequel, Jinwoo fights against gods from other universes, preventing his universe from being destroyed. While Omni-Man might have killed the Episode 1 version of Jinwoo, the current Jinwoo is multiverse-level, or even beyond universe-level. He doesn't just stop Omni-Man, he can stop the entire Viltrumite invasion, killing every single Viltrumite in his way. Furthermore, the solo leveling universe is filled with dozens of characters who could take down Viltrumites. So, you can imagine the scale of the threat Omni-Man would face there. At this point, Omni-Man is completely outmatched. So, we move on to the third universe, which is the Earth of My Hero Academia. In the My Hero Academia universe, Omni-Man could defeat most characters without much difficulty. However, there are a few who could actually pose a serious challenge, and even potentially kill him. First among them is Eri. If she had full control over her powers, she could use her rewind ability to send Omni-Man's body thousands of years into the past, completely erasing him from existence. But to do this, Eri would need to expend an enormous amount of energy, and the process would take considerable time. By the time she finished, Omni-Man could already strike and destroy her. Next is Nine, the villain from the MHA movie. He possesses a total of 9 quirks, with his most powerful being weather manipulation. Using it takes a heavy toll on his body and could even lead to his death. Beyond that, he can steal other quirks, has regeneration with limitations, create barriers from air, and shoot lasers from his fingers. However, if the battle drags on, Nine is destined to be defeated. Omni-Man's Viltrumite durability makes it nearly impossible for weather or laser attacks to penetrate his skin. Then there is Overhaul, a villain capable of erasing existence itself. If Omni-Man approaches him, Overhaul would act instantly. Since Omni-Man has no ability to detect powers in advance, he might underestimate Overhaul as a normal human. But if Omni-Man uses his speed to strike before Overhaul can react, he could easily defeat him. Now, let's move on to the top 5 strongest characters in the MHA universe. At number 5, we have Deku, who wields All-for-One plus 8 other quirks. Using Black Whip, he could capture Omni-Man and continuously attack him, while his danger sense allows him to dodge Omni-Man's super speed strikes. However, Deku cannot fully utilize the power of One for All at 100% without taking damage, unlike All Might. This disadvantage means Deku could challenge Omni-Man, but ultimately, he would fall to the Viltrumite. At number 4, we have Stars and Stripe, America's #1 hero. Her power, New Order, is extraordinarily broken. By placing her hand on any living or non-living thing, she can command it to obey her will. She can give 2 commands at once. With this, she could instantly stop Omni-Man's heart and end his life, provided she knows his name. Beyond her quirks, she is physically so strong and fast that she can easily withstand every punch Omni-Man throws at her. At number 3, we have All Might in his prime. He could easily challenge a Viltrumite, and his punches are capable of obliterating entire countries. An Omni-Man versus All Might fight would be a monumental clash of raw strength, and All Might would have a very real chance of victory. At number 2, we have All for One in his prime. In terms of sheer strength, Omni-Man could match him, but All for One has an arsenal of quirks that could very likely defeat even a Viltrumite. If we reference examples like Tech Knight or Rexplode from Invincible, it's clear that these powers are lethal even to beings of Omni-Man's caliber. And finally, at number 1, we have Shigaraki in his final form. By the end of the series, Shigaraki possesses All for One's powers, instant regeneration, decay, and All Might level physical capabilities. He could outright bully Omni-Man, and a single touch would ensure Omni-Man's death. So, in this universe, Omni-Man can defeat many characters, but there are forces powerful enough to stop even a Viltrumite tyrant. With that, we now move to the second universe, Jujutsu Kaisen's Earth. And this battle is about to get incredibly intense. When Omni-Man enters the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, let's assume he has enough cursed energy to actually see curses. Even without that, he could still replicate feats similar to Toji Fushiguro, thanks to his sheer physical ability. Now, when it comes to most special grade curses, Omni-Man would obliterate them easily. Hanami, Dagon, Jogo, all would fall to his hands without much resistance. Some might argue that Jogo's meteor attacks, or his domain expansion, could penetrate Omni-Man's skin. But that would only be possible if Jogo's domain could emit heat equivalent to the sun's surface, which it clearly doesn't. If Jogo truly possessed that kind of firepower, he would have used it against Sukuna during the Shibuya incident. But he didn't, which tells us everything. Now, talking about special grade sorcerers, Kashimo, Hikari, Geto, or Kenjaku, and Yuki Tsukumo. None of them would last long against Omni-Man. Hikari's regeneration lasts only 4 minutes and 11 seconds. And even if it didn't, Omni-Man could simply grab him and throw him into space. Geto or Kenjaku. They've already been taken out by people like Yuta and Toji through surprise attacks. Against Omni-Man, every single punch would count as a surprise attack because of his unimaginable speed. Kashimo might be a powerful lightning user, and his electricity could cause slight damage. But when it comes to speed and strength, Omni-Man completely outclasses him. Yuki Tsukumo might have the potential to create black holes, but Omni-Man wouldn't even give her a chance to think, let alone activate her ability. And for those waiting for Toji, Maki, or Itadori, let's be real. They're insanely strong humans, but they're nowhere near Viltrumite level. And no, Itadori's left-right goodnight combo won't be working here. So let's move on. It's time to talk about the top 5 strongest characters who could stand against Omni-Man. At number 5, we have Mahito. And the only reason he's even on this list is because his cursed technique targets the soul directly, something that could potentially affect even a Viltrumite. If he managed to trap Omni-Man inside his domain expansion, he could touch his soul and kill him instantly. But outside his domain, Omni-Man would never let Mahito get close. He's far too fast, far too strong. Mahito wouldn't even know what hit him. At number 4, we have Yuta Okatsu. With Rika by his side, Yuta can unleash a barrage of powerful attacks continuously. Even if Omni-Man tries to kill Yuta, Rika would instantly intervene. Both Yuta and Rika can use reverse curse technique to heal again and again, keeping them in the fight for a long time. And before his cursed energy runs out, Yuta could open his domain expansion, channeling every cursed technique he has into a single, devastating strike capable of killing Omni-Man. At number 3, we have Mahoraga, the divine Shikigami that can adapt to anything. No matter how many punches Omni-Man throws, Mahoraga would keep evolving, learning, and countering every attack. Omni-Man doesn't possess an instant kill move like Hollow Purple or Fuga, so defeating Mahoraga would be impossible. Omni-Man versus Mahoraga would end just like Doomsday versus Superman, with Omni-Man's death. At number 2 stands Sukuna, the king of curses. He defeated Mahoraga, Yuta, and practically every major sorcerer in Jujutsu Kaisen. In the end, it took the entire world to stop him. Sukuna could easily obliterate Omni-Man using Fuga, his infernal fire attack, the same one that instantly killed Jogo, who himself was a fire-based being. And if Fuga doesn't work, Sukuna has another weapon in his arsenal, the world-cutting slash, a single invisible strike capable of slicing through the entire planet. Omni-Man wouldn't even see it coming. He'd just be split in half before realizing what happened. And at number 1, we have the blue-eyed glorious king, Gojo Satoru, the honored one. First off, Omni-Man wouldn't even be able to touch him. Infinity would make every attack meaningless. Then, with a single Hollow Purple, Gojo could erase Omni-Man from existence. Because Hollow Purple doesn't just destroy matter, it erases it completely. And if somehow Omni-Man managed to dodge it, Gojo would simply say 2 words.
領域展開
Once trapped inside Infinite Void, Omni-Man's mind would be overwhelmed by infinite knowledge until his brain shuts down. He'd go brain dead within seconds. So, in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe, there are 3 beings, who can for sure kill Omni-Man, Mahoraga, Sukuna, and Gojo Satoru. Yuta and Mahito could go either way depending on the situation. But if Omni-Man's true goal wasn't conquest, but pure destruction, then nothing could stop him. He'd wipe out the entire Jujutsu Kaisen Earth, leaving nothing behind to save. And now, it's time to step into our final universe, the world of Demon Slayer. When it comes to Demon Slayer versus Omni-Man, it's honestly an embarrassment for the Demon Slayer characters, because let's be real, almost everyone in this universe is human, peak human level at best. And against a Viltrumite, their swords, their speed, their strength, absolutely nothing would work. Even the strongest demons like Kokushibo and Muzan might have regeneration, sure, but none of them possess the raw destructive power required to even scratch Omni-Man's skin. And Omni-Man? He doesn't even need to wait for sunrise to kill a demon. He could simply grab every single one of them and throw them straight into the sun himself. In this universe, there are no top 5 beings, no warriors, no slayers who could even dream of surviving against Omni-Man. Some people might bring up Demon King Tanjiro, saying he survived sunlight, and yeah, he did, for a brief moment. But that's sunlight on Earth. If Omni-Man wanted to, he could take Tanjiro and throw him directly into the heart of the sun, or even into outer space, ending him instantly. So yes, out of all the 5 universes we've discussed, there's only one Earth where Omni-Man could actually expand his Viltrum Empire, and that is Demon Slayer's world. What do you think? How many of these anime universes do you believe Omni-Man could truly conquer? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And even if you didn't like it, come on, just do it anyway. And if you want to see the top 10 strongest characters across anime universes, click the video right here on your screen. This is Heroes Chad, signing off.